welcome back everyone to another video. It's been a while. I'm trying to get back into the swing of things because I miss filming videos and chatting about books, so I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. I'm in my Chiefs jersey, PJ thing. I couldn't bother to get ready and it's currently 5:36 at night, so bear with me basically is what I'm trying to say. Today we're doing my summer TBR. It's currently the 23rd of June, so is this a little bit late? Maybe, but nonetheless, July and August are still a part of summer, last time I checked. So these are the books that I'm most likely not going to read in summer, since we're already like in 23 days into June. But this is more like a mood read. I'm not planning on reading every single one of these on this list. It's just a mood read of the books that I'd like to get to. And these are all from my physical TBR. All these books I'm going to be talking about are from my physical TBR. I do also have a couple of books on my Kindle that I want to maybe see if I can get to, but I'm going to prioritize the ones on my physical TBR, obviously. So let's get it started, shall we? The first book that I added to this list was Before the Coffee Gets Cold. One reason for this is because I want to diversify my reads this month. I want to make it a month of diversifying my reads, which this list actually includes lots of classics and fictions and not many romances. Not many fantasies either, because I'm trying to diversify my read. I've been saying since the start of the year that my goal was to read more fiction and classics, and I've read exactly 0. So yeah, I put this on my list because I don't know what time this is set in, so I don't even know if this is good for the summertime or not, but I've had this on my list on my TBR for ages. Actually, there's a receipt inside so I can tell you exactly when I bought this. I bought this on, this is see how date, 30th of the 12th, 2023. I've had this book on my TBR since 2023. There is like literally no way. No, there literally can't be. That can't be a fact. I refuse to believe that. Okay, well, clearly this is in need. I know that this is about a cafe where if you sit in one specific seat, you time travel in time and you can like talk to people. And you've got the time and you've got to basically talk to them before the coffee gets cold. Like, that's the title of the book. Like, you've got until the coffee gets cold to talk to the person that you're going there to talk to. So yeah, I feel like this could be a very emotional read. I know that there's like other books in this series as well. I know there's a series of these, so I can't wait. If I end up liking this, I may just go and haul this one and and rebuy it in hardback and buy the rest in hardback, because the hardbacks I've seen are like small, like the same size as this, and I've literally don't have a hardback that size, and I find it funny. And also I hate these little flaps. Like, it's a paperback, why are we doing that? So yeah, I might do that, but that's the first one we're going to be reading this summer. Well, not the first one, that's just one of the options. Next we've got The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks. I've actually never read a Nicholas Sparks book. I don't think. I obviously know the story of The Notebook, and it's floppy, so that's one reason why I bought it, but I obviously know the story of The Notebook. I've obviously watched Nicholas Sparks movies. I've watched The Notebook. Love that film, one of my favourites. I've also watched, I watched A Walk to Remember. I didn't even know that was Nicholas Sparks until recently, but I've watched A Walk to Remember. I believe I've watched Dear John, and I believe I've watched The Choice. But yeah, so I bought this because honestly, I've seen the movie, so obviously I know it's like a summer romance movie about this two couple falling in love. I'm not going to say much about the plot. Everybody knows what The Notebook's about. But yeah, I know this is going to be emotional. Oh, the writing's huge. I love that. But yeah, I add that to my list because it's another fiction, and I bought that recently, so I could take that off my TBR. Next we've got a romance, and we've got Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez. Abby Jimenez has become one of my favourite authors, I swear to God. She's the only author who's been able to give me a 5-star this year, and that was From the Night We Met by her, which I read at the start of the year. Since then, I still have not found another 5-star. That's the only 5-star that I've been able to find, and we're halfway through the year. So yeah, this year's not been a good reading year for me at all, but at least we found one 5-star because Abby Jimenez just never does me wrong. So I wanted to go back to read her past series. We've got Life's Too Short, and then there's also the Friend Zone and the Happy Ever playlist. I'm pretty sure I've got the Friend Zone as well somewhere in my mess of a TBR. I've got the Friend Zone, and the only one that I don't have is the Happy Ever playlist. But when I read those 2 books and this one, I've officially finished all of Abby Jimenez's discography, and I've in no doubt that this is going to be amazing as well. I know that people say that this is her first series. I know that people say that this series isn't as good or polished as the books that she's currently writing, and people prefer obviously the series she's currently writing to this one, but I feel like I'm still going to love it. I'm trying to not go into it with high hopes because, like, people say this, like, her debut series is not as good in their opinion, but I just love Abby Jimenez and I don't think she's going to do me wrong, and I think that every single book I will read by her will not be below 4 stars. Every single book that I've read by her has been a 4-star or above, so I don't think she'll do me wrong. And this is about, says Vanessa Price quit her job to pursue her dream of travelling the globe. She wasn't expecting to gain millions of YouTube followers who shared her joy of seizing the moment. So this is about, and then suddenly her half-sister leaves her in custody of her daughter, and then the relationship is between her and her neighbour who's a lawyer and who's apparently great with kids, and he basically helps her take care of the baby sister that she now needs to look after. So can't wait for that. That's just a nice little romance to shake it up. And then we've got Slags by Emma Jane Unsworthy. Unsworth? I recently got this at the train station when I was going to Edinburgh, so this has not been on my TBR for very, very long. I got this because I was going to Scotland, and this book is set in Scotland, and the back of the book seemed very interesting, and it seemed short, so I thought maybe I can read this on the train journey there. I did not touch this at all, and I know that if I leave it on my TBR and don't read it, that I will never read it again, because I bought this book on a whim, and usually books that I buy on a whim I never end up touching. So it says, once a slag, always a slag. It's the 1990s. Sarah is 15, obsessed with sex, getting drunk on Malibu, and her teacher, Mr. Kevany. Fast forward, Sarah is 41, the last of the party girls, but the mad nights out are losing their shine. Craving adventure, she sets off with her sister Juliet on a whiskey-fueled camper van trip across Scotland. They know all the dark corners of each other's history, and it's time to dig up some demons, kicking and screaming, because the things that once defined us shouldn't define us forever, should they? That sounds amazing, and that sounds like a perfect fiction book to read. I think this is like women's fiction. That's what it's giving, at least. This is the perfect women's fiction to read, I think, in the summertime. Like, and Dolly Alderton quoted it as well, and Sarah Pascoe. I haven't read any books by them. I do have a Dolly Alderton book on my TBR though, I just haven't read it. And then I've also got a reread. I think this is the only reread on... No, it's not. But then I've got a reread just for the summer by Abby Jimenez. This is the first ever Abby Jimenez book that I read. I read this on the Kindle, and this is when I absolutely fell in love with Abby Jimenez. This is also the first contemporary romance book that I ever truly enjoyed, and since then I have found authors that I like to read from, like Carly Fortune, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. But this was a solid 4.5 for me. It wasn't a 5 stars, but it was so close. It was a 4.5. I either rated it 4.5 or 4.75. I don't remember, but I think it was 4.5. And I was so pleasantly surprised that I normally don't read contemporary romance. I'm normally a romantasy girl all the way, and this is the first contemporary romance that I've almost rated a 5 stars when I read it, which I read it a while ago, and ever since then I've loved everything she's written. And then I started reading other authors that share that same vibe to me. I fell in love with Liston Fordy, like I said, Carly Fortune, and I can't remember off the top of my head now, but Hannah Grace, you get the gist. So yeah, I definitely want to reread this for the summer and see if it's still as good, or maybe even it ends up being a 5 star, I don't know. I remember that this is about Justin, whose mum is going to prison, and Emma, wait, no, is this a different story? I don't think so. it's about this two couple who they keep getting broken up with, and the people that they break up with always end up finding their soulmate and the one that they end up marrying after dating them. So they feel like just a stepping stool to get to the one. She ends up sharing her story on Reddit, which he ends up reading it and thinking that that's exactly the same, and they end up striking a deal where how about they just date each other to cancel out this curse that they have, and then after they break up they'll find their one true love. Obviously it's a romance, so we know how that's gonna go, but I think there's something to do. Emma's toxic mother shows up, and Justin has to assume guardianship of his 3 siblings because like something's going on with his mother, and yeah, that's what I love about Abby Jimenez books. It's just so much more about the romance, and I just can't wait to read that. Then we've got a classic. I picked this up at like this charity like book library thing, the ones where you like trade in a book. It's Room with a View by E.M. Foster. When I was searching up the best classics to read for the summer, this one came up a lot. I don't know what it's about, but just this book came up a lot when I searched up classics to read during the summer. It just says, in this brilliant piece of social comedy, Foster is concerned with one of his favourite themes, the undeveloped heart of the English middle classes, who are here represented by a group of tourists and expatriates in Florence. Oh, okay. That's why. The English abroad are observed with a sharply ironic eye, but one of them, the young and unaffected Lucy Honeychurch, is also drawn with great sympathy. In her relationships with her dismal cousin Charlotte, with the unconventional Emersons, and the scene transferred to England with her supercilious fiancé, Lucy is torn between lingering Victorian properties, social and sexual, and the spontaneous promptings of her heart. An undeveloped heart, not a cold one. Thus there are hidden depths of meaning in the sunniest and most readable of Foster's novels. Okay, so definitely great for the winter, and I love this edition. This is a Penguin 20th Century Classic. Please like bring these editions back. They are so like, I don't know, vintage, and I love it. And the pages, like you can tell this book is old. I got this like from a charity, so it's obviously been read before, but the pages are literally like going yellow. I love reading old books like that. Next we've got Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Like I said, I wanted to get into fantasy, into classics. Wuthering Heights is one of my favourite books of all time. I read it the first time in English class in high school or secondary, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Reading it with the teacher, obviously, it was quite hard, and ever since then I haven't touched another classic because they're intimidating and the language in them is quite hard to get around. But I've always wanted to read Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte because I heard that that's amazing, and most people love this as well, and well, it's a classic for a reason. So I got the Penguin Classics. I also love these Penguin Classics. The only thing I don't like about them is that the pages are white. I hate white pages in books, but other than that, other than the pages being white, I love the covers of these. They're so amazing. They need to bring those vintage ones back. But yeah, I don't know what this is about, but I know that it's a romance, and that's all. And I think it's Mr. Rochester? Yeah, Mr. Rochester. And it's sort of like people trope it. I don't think something about people putting tropes in classic books is like really like, oh wow, we're there. But people claim the romance in this is like enemies to lovers, but for back then. So I can't wait to read that. Let's see if we get to it. Then we've got another book, and that's Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I always get these two authors confused because obviously it's Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, and then this is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. But yeah, I get very confused with that. I don't know what this is. Mr. Darcy. 19th century, as Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy grapple with society norms and personal biases and misunderstandings of societal pressures, their love story blossoms challenging conventions and reveals transformative power of self-discovery and true love. I've got like loads of different copies of this book. I don't know why I haven't read it yet. This is a beautiful copy that I picked up, I think at TK Maxx, and yeah, so I can't wait to read this as well. Hopefully, again, it's easy to understand, but another classic on there that I said I wanted to read. This next book and these next two books are actually something that I've wanted to film for a while for a specific video. When you see this first book, if you're a Swiftie, when you see this first book, you'll know exactly what video I'm talking about that I wanted to film with these books, and that is Rebecca by Daphne Demure. So yeah, oh, it's floppy as well, I didn't even notice that, but this is I'm pretty sure this is a classic as well. And obviously, if you don't know, if you're not a Swiftie, Tolerate It by Taylor Swift is one of my favourite songs ever. I love that song by her, and it's one of my favourite Taylor Swift songs. And this book, little did I know that that song is actually based off a book, or inspired by a book, not based, it's inspired by a book, and it's inspired by this book. When I heard that, I immediately picked it up, and I got the idea to do a video where I read books that inspired Taylor Swift songs, because apparently there's lots of them, including like The Secret Garden, Great Gatsby and stuff like that. So I wanted to put this on the list because I thought, you know what, I've had this book on here for ages. It's time that I finally read it, whether I do the video or not, because most of the time I film a video and it ends up going not how planned and I scrap the video. But whether I do the video or not, I still want to read this because it sounds interesting. Then, I'm sorry I'm not saying all the summaries to all these books, by the way, because we've got a lot of books to get through, so yeah. Then we've got The Great Gatsby. This is another short one, so I'm adding like different lengths of books in here so that they're not all long books. So yeah, this is The Great Gatsby, and again, same thing. I love this copy as well. I just love collecting classics because they have like such beautiful covers. I don't know what this is about. It says, but when I searched up classic summer books to read in the summer, this also popped up a lot. Everybody was saying that this is a great book to read during the summertime. So yeah, I don't know why, but it says, there was music from my neighbour's house through the summer nights in his blue gardens. Men and girls came and went like moths among the whisperings and the champagne and stars. Enigmatic, intriguing, and fabulously wealthy, Jay Gatsby throws lavish parties at his West Egg mansion to impress Daisy Buchanan, the object of his obsession, now married to bullish Tom Buchanan. Over a Long Island summer, his neighbour Nick Carraway, a writer and cousin to Daisy, looks on as Gatsby and Daisy's affair deepens. Oh, okay. Tragedy looms in F. Scott Fitzgerald's masterpiece, this third novel. Okay. Yeah, that sounds interesting, and yeah, can't wait to read that. Then I've got George Orwell's Coming Up for Air. I don't know if this is like a good book to read in summer or not, but I picked this up and I read like page 1 and never ended up finishing. This is more of a modern classic, but again, a classic nonetheless. And again, love these covers. So yeah, this is about a 45-year-old man who's like married with kids, and he's basically fallen into a depression, and he hasn't felt like happiness since back in the day when he was living in this village. So he decides to go back to that village to basically relive his youth. So yeah, that's what this one's about, and honestly, it sounds, I don't know, summery. Next, I've got the other reread I was talking about, Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. I want to reread this because of the new series that's come out on Prime Video, and this was a 5-star. This is what inspired me to write my own book, which I am currently writing my own book. And yeah, 5-star book. I want to reread this to so I can watch the TV show because I love it. Love this. And I got it signed because I got this from my trip to Edinburgh, and I got this from this lovely romance-only shop that they've got in Edinburgh, so I end up getting that. Last physical book, well actually no, I've got 3 more, but it's Rules for the Summer by Megan Quinn. This is actually, the reason I went to Edinburgh is to get it signed by the Megan Quinn herself, and I haven't read the book yet, so I obviously want to read it for the summer because it's a very summery book, and I love this cover. I also love the American one. The American one is like a full purple cover. I'll see if I can find it and put a picture on the screen, but if I end up loving this, I'll definitely buy that version as well. I've just finished reading Just for the Cameras by Megan Quinn, and I loved it. That was a solid 4.5, I think I rated it. It was so funny. I love her writing, I love her humour, she's hilarious, and I love her characters. And yeah, I really want to read more Megan Quinn books, and this is just so beautiful. So I'm so glad I've got this signed, and I'm definitely going to read this in the summer. Next we have the Caraval trilogy, which is the only fantasy on my summer TBR, because I'm currently in the middle of reading the Throne of Glass series and the whole Sarah J Maas universe, basically, because of the new ACOTAR books coming out in October and December, I think. So I am reading Throne of Glass, and then ACOTAR, and then what was the other one? Crescent City. So I'm already going to be reading lots of high fantasy this summer, so I didn't want to like bum myself out, because obviously I don't really usually read fantasy in the summertime. That's not a thing that I do. Fantasy for me is like a strictly winter/autumn thing. But I remember reading Caraval years ago, and I absolutely loved it. I read it on my Kindle, I think, and I loved this book so much. It was so whimsical, and the little town and the game, it was just, the writing was so lyrical and whimsical, and I loved it. I did not however like the ending. The ending is like what ruined it for me. Like, that book, Caraval, that was going to be a 5-star if the ending hadn't ruined it for me. I, for some reason, didn't like the ending. I don't remember specifically what about the ending I didn't like. I just remember finishing the book and being like, what the heck? It was something to do with the main male character, for the reason why I didn't like it. But I do want to do a reread, because obviously the Once Upon a Broken Heart series has come out and it's getting lots of popularity, and I'm someone who can't do anything out of order. If there's like a movie adaptation of a book, I have to read the book first and then watch the movie. The only times that's I've like not done that is with Off-Campus series, which I do want to read, but I watched the TV show first because my friend begged me to, and I just couldn't be bothered to read. How many books is there? Like 5 books to be able to watch the series. So for one time I decided to watch the TV show first, and I'm glad I did, because now I've got an mental image of what the characters look like. But yeah, so I want to read this before reading the Broken Hearts series, and I also always wondered what I missed out upon. So I ended up getting the hardback, like, pretty versions of Caraval, and I really did enjoy this book, so I wanted to reread it as well, just to see if the ending will still piss me off, or if I might not mind the ending, because I read this like so long ago that I've got different reading tastes now. So I feel like maybe this time it will end up being a 5 stars, because maybe the ending won't bother me as much and as it bothered like childhood Beatrice. And there's a little teardrop there. I don't remember what that's from, because I don't remember. I remember that she goes into this game. She goes into this game to win, what, I think it's a wish or something. It's this competition, and you get like a wish. Yeah, she goes there to find her sister who went to the game. And yeah, I don't know, but I'm excited to read this. And then I've also got, I think it's Legendary and then Finale. These covers are absolutely stunning, so I really hope that I do like this. I'm pretty sure it's Legendary and then Finale. I'm guessing because, well, Finale is like in the name. And then they all have that little thing in the corner. That's so cool. And yeah, what's this one? That's so cool. But yeah, I bought these special editions because I couldn't help myself, and they look so pretty. So yeah, that's the books physically that I'm going to be reading in this summer. And now for the books that I've got on my digital TBR, or like digital that I want to read, is Please Don't Go by E. Salvador. This is a romance. The cover is absolutely beautiful, and the cover is giving summer. It says, he felt like he was drowning. She was about to drown. Josephine Resendiz is struggling to figure out her life between her complicated relationship with grief and not having a single clue how to feel. What she can't understand, she's sinking and she isn't sure how to float back up to the surface. Daniel Garcia, a shortstop, a budding ray of sunshine. Daniel Garcia, shortstop, a budding ray of sunshine, and potential first-round pick for the MLB draft. Oh, it's a sports romance. Has life figured out? At least that's what everyone assumes. On the surface, he's the embodiment of happiness and life, but beneath it all, guilt and grief have been consuming him since his brother passed away. Unsure how to deal with his feelings, he bottles them up and masks the pain of haunting reminders behind a mask of smiles. That's until he stumbles upon Josephine on Christmas Day. That wasn't supposed to happen. He wasn't supposed to be there, but neither was she, at least not for long. The night evolves into something neither one of them expected, and when morning comes, she's nowhere to be found. He can't stop thinking about her, she wants to forget him, but fate seems to have plans for them. Once the semester begins, they find out they have a class together, and avoiding Daniel becomes hard, and they're paired to be hiking buddies. Much to Josephine's chagrin, she likes him more than she cares to admit, and Daniel is struggling to keep everything he's bottled up around her. Hesitantly and unknowingly, they're opening up old wounds they wanted to keep closed, feeling grounded around each other, and unintentionally falling in love. Okay, well... so this looks like it's going to be a doozy filled with like lots of emotional impact, but yeah, I don't know, it's giving summer vibes. And then another one I've added to my TBR is Love Overboard. Where is it? Love Overboard. Now I know this is about this is a romance, but it's a romance with a twist, and ever since seeing it, I've been really wanting to read it. And also this is the same author that wrote, sorry, my neighbours. This is the same author that wrote A Love Letter to Whiskey. I haven't read A Love Letter to Whiskey yet, but I heard that everybody loves it. And that's also on my Kindle to read. But Love Overboard, it's apparently about a takes place on a yacht, on like a boat, and it's a reality TV show. And it says this woman signs up for the reality TV show, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it says she's living her dream, chief stew on a Mediterranean super yacht, sun-kissed days at sea, and the star of Close Quarters, the hottest new reality TV show. Yeah, she's the star of a reality TV show. She finds her stride. The producers throw her a curveball by hiring the one man who nearly sank her. Finn Pearson was the one that got away, the boy who kissed her like they had forever, then left without a word. But now he's a chef in her new crew, and the cameras are watching their every move. So they're both contestants in the reality TV show. He's the chef, and she's part of his crew, or something. They both work on the boat as reality TV stars, and she's like the reality TV star, and they fall in love, and it's summer, and it's amazing, and I can't wait to read it. So yeah. Then we've got Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn. This one also seemed... This is fake dating, and they have to... They go away to some place. Scotty Price just started a new job, and it's real sausage fest. She's the only woman on the team, filled with bad chads, and so expecting a bachelor pad atmosphere, she's surprised when she finds out that everyone around her is happily married. In an effort to try and impress her new team, she ventures her own husband. The only problem, he doesn't actually exist. So when her boss offers her and the supposed love of her life on a one-on-one session with the best counselor money can buy, who just happens to be her boss's partner, she has to think quickly. Enter Wilder Wells, her best friend's brother. And next thing she knows, the two of them are on an 8-day marriage camp with all her co-workers sharing a cabin, and unfortunately for Scotty, Wilder's even more handsome than she remembers. So that seems amazing. I've also got Elsie Silver's Fever Dream, but that's another reality TV show one, but we're gonna see about that one, because I'm currently unhauling my Chestnut Spring series, because I like them, I just didn't like them that much, to be honest, to keep the books. So I'm in the middle of donating them, so will I read that? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. And I think the last book that I'm going to... the last book that I'm going to put on here, probably... I don't know, because I've got so many. I feel like I've got too many. I'm also picking books that are on Kindle Unlimited as well, because just, you know, why not? And one of the books I'm also putting on, by the way, I don't think I told you the name of that book. The name of that book was Fastlane by C.S. Quill. And then the last book that I'm going to be putting is Face Off by Chelsea Curito. Curito? They're both on the same hockey team. Like, she's a hockey player and he's a hockey player, and they're both playing on the same team. And I think they have like a one night stand. After a night where the tension between them reaches a tipping point and they fall in bed together, Emmy and Maverick vow it was only one time, just once, to get it out of the system so they can play better and help the team. It doesn't mean anything. She doesn't date hockey players. He's a notorious playboy who doesn't date, period. Except what should have just been once happens again and then again. So yeah, that seems fun, but quite nerve-wracking because I don't do well with like instant lust or instant attraction. I'm a slow burn girly, so the fact that it's talking about how they're friends with benefits right off the start sometimes doesn't do well with me, because I tried to read Heated Rivalry and I couldn't get through it because it was just way too fast, and I'm a slow burn and they were already like doing stuff and was like, no. So yeah. Oh, and then the last book, for real this time. It's another fiction because I don't actually have that many fictions. I've got loads of classics, but I don't have that many fictions. I've only got 2 fictions, which is Slags and When the Coffee Gets Cold, and the rest are like classics. So I'm adding The Best Worst Thing by Lauren Oakey. I know this is not technically a fiction, I think it's classified as a romance, but from what people say, this seems more like a fiction than a romance. And from what I know about it, this follows a woman named Nicole who she's been trying to get pregnant with her partner for years, and they're having like fertility issues. I think one of them is infertile or something, so they're using a surrogate. And just as she finds out that her husband's been cheating on her the whole time. And then that comes up as the same time as she finds out that the surrogate that they're using to have a baby is pregnant. So they're pregnant, they're going to have a baby, and she just found out that her husband's cheating on her. But then I think there's a romance as well, because it says Logan Milgram, a former colleague with serious golden retriever energy, who happens to be laugh out loud funny, a colossal nerd, and legitimately kind of hot. When Logan opens his door that night, it's like no time has passed, and as they fall back into each other's lives, Nicole starts recognizing herself in the mirror again. She even begins to like what she sees. And then, like a crucial joke, she gets the news she spent a lifetime waiting for. Her surrogate is finally pregnant. As her relationship with Logan develops from a blast from the past fling into something much deeper, Nicole struggles to balance her past with present and future. So yeah, it does have like a romance element to it, but I think this is like giving more of a fiction vibe with a side plot of romance. So I'm adding that as well. So we've got lots of books basically. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 books that I've added to the list. Like I said, I'm currently in the middle of reading Assassin's Blade, and obviously in the middle of reading other books as well as that. So we'll see if I even get to any of these. Probably not, but I'm trying to tamp down my TBR because it's getting ridiculous at this point. I was trying to find books for this video and I didn't even know which books I owned and which books I didn't own. I was looking for some of the shelves and I didn't even know I owned some of these books. So yeah, these are the books I'm going to be reading this summer. I'm going to be hopefully recording vlogs for some of these. The Taylor Swift one, definitely going to record that to see. I also want to record a video where I'm reading classics, so some of these classics might appear. And I also want to do a reading vlog for the whole Caraval trilogy, so you'll probably be seeing a reading vlog involving these as well, along with the reading vlog for Throne of Glass, which I'm going to be doing the first 3 books, which will be part 1, and then the next books, so on and so on. And so yeah guys, that's it for this video. I hope I see you guys in the future videos that I do. Hopefully you'll be seeing these videos from me and I won't scrap them, but fingers crossed they turn out good, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!